Welcome in, one and all, to another fresh shave. I am the Pink Demon, aka Regan Boyce, and I apologize for a lack of uploads. I was sick, had a bit of a cough, didn't want to record, but I'm back in it now. And today we are looking at Non Est Deus, which translates from Latin into There Is No God, with their new album Blessings and Curses. This is a German black metal project, all done by one person, and we'll get into who that is a little bit later. But first things first, where possible, I do love to judge an album by its cover, if it's got good cover art, and throw that up on the screen. This is amazing cover art. I love what I'm looking at here. I love this split picture, but with the slight crossing over of the picture, really, just that small tie together. I think it's a really cool effect. We've got what looks like an angel being dragged down to hell. He's kind of falling through the clouds there, and then on the other side of the picture, you've got these foul animal hybrid beasts. This guy in a really cool helmet. I want that helmet with a sickle. And it's all kind of red and fire and brimstone and whatnot. I like that the logo is on the split of the image, and they've matched the color of the logo on each half and used the horizontal symmetry of the logo to do so. Also, as a small detail where the hands and feet cross over in this image, they're restored or degraded depending what side they are. So this big crow face monster and all its skin is burnt, but on the top half where its hand is just poking out, it's got all its skin back, so it's restored in heaven. I think that's a really cool art piece, and I think it will work well with the themes of the album as we get into it. Straight off the bat, listening to this, I'm like, man, this sounds like that Cannon and Fever band, that German World War One band. You might have seen them. They're like a masked World War One German band, and they look kind of sketchy. And everyone's like, are they a bit of a sus black metal band? But no, they're actually not. And it turns out that connection is more than just sounding similar. Because I'm like, who is in this band? Where did it come from? And while looking it up, it turns out Cannon and Fever, sorry for anyone who speaks German who just had to listen to me butcher that, is a one-man project. Obviously there's a live band, but everything recorded is by one guy, and that same one guy is behind Non Est Deus. So there's a reason it sounds so similar. It's the same band, except instead of World War One, they're singing about religion. But for those not familiar with Cannon and Fever, I think that was closer. It's a very modern, clean-sounding black and death metal. If you think modern Behemoth and then put even more polish on it. Getting into it, first impressions, the riffs are really good. I like the vocal style. It is discernible with focus, but, if it's just on the background, you probably won't pick up a lot of it. I found the riffs were really good, but in small doses. I think that all the songs could honestly be 30 seconds to a minute shorter to assist with just being more punchy. They almost all get repetitive, and you'll hit a point where you'll be like, oh wow, are we back in the chorus again? I don't think we needed to come back to this. Or, wow, and another verse? I thought we're kind of done here. And I think that's hampered further by, at the start, the lyrics are very basic in their approach to the topic. It's very surface level theology, and there's not really any application of the theology or story being driven by it. But then from about halfway through the album, the track The Forsaken, it starts to get a bit more involved, and the lyrics pick up then. And it's kind of hard because in the second half, I begin to get fatigued musically because there's not a lot of depth in those repetitive riffs. The style's too one note to remain interesting for the whole album, but it is picking up towards the second half of the album, so I'm kind of already fatigued on the sound, but it is getting better, with the last two songs probably being the best on the album. And I think it's just the songs in the first half are really repetitive musically and lyrically, and repeat listens just cement my opinion on that the first three songs you could cut completely and you'd probably be better for it. It does leave you in that awkward spot of a 25-minute release. Is that an EP? Is that an album? Who knows? Who cares? So maybe the solution isn't cutting them, maybe it's reworking them, but on a few listens into this, I'm like, man, they are just really weak tracks that I don't want to hear, but I do enjoy the whole second half of the album a lot, and I'm treating it basically as an EP where I just start halfway through. And hey, since this album's so biblically themed, maybe this is some sort of meta-commentary based on the wedding at Cana, where they bring out the best wine at the end. I doubt it, but if he wants to use that as an excuse, go nuts. That's a freebie on the house. Speaking of the lyrical content, I am a fan of how it approaches the subject matter. You know, when you open up Metal Archives and you look at the band, it's like themes, it's blasphemy and anti-Christianity. You know, it's a bit yawn, it's very old hat in the genre now. If there was anything worth saying, it would have been said by now, and 99% of the genre is nothing worth saying. But as I listen to it more, it seems like he's really educated on the subject matter, and you know, actually could probably hold like a theological debate with someone. And that's really refreshing to hear in black metal when, you know, you compare it to figureheads of the genre like Behemoth, who come off like angsty 13-year-old God equals dog. Fuck you, Nurgle, you piece of shit cringelord. So to hear this and just pick up on parts and even reading into the lyrics, which isn't something I normally do on the first few listens, but I was getting really into it, and noticing that there are a lot of deeper references. You know, a lot of people be like, yeah, I've read the Bible, it's all bullshit in the metal scene. And it turns out they've watched like VeggieTales explain the major stories, whereas this has quotes from Book of Numbers and things that you wouldn't know unless you've actually read the Bible cover to cover. So it just comes off as very educated on the subject matter, very mature on the subject matter, and presenting it in a way that is critical but not just trying to bash it. It's actually trying to engage with it and point out things about it. And I like the way it tells stories about it and how it twists stories about it, gives different perspectives. It's just, yeah, refreshingly mature to see in black metal. Again, to harp on the point, all those best lyrics, they come towards the end of the album. That was my cat. And I don't think those songs are particularly more complex musically. Definitely some segments are. There are bits where I'm like, oh, there was nothing like that on the first half of the album. But it's not a huge leap forward, but I think just lyrically it's a huge leap forward, and that's why I can forgive all these, 4 or 5 minute long songs. I'm like, oh, it's actually interesting, it's doing something now. Whereas you look at the lyrics, like Show Mercy and Forgive Me, they're just not particularly good lyrics, and for that to run 4.5 minutes or 4 minutes, or even My Lord at over 5, yeah, it just gets boring. I just really think those 3 songs could have been cut. And I don't think you would have had a detriment to the overall product. It's funny looking back at Non Est Deus' other albums now and seeing that, like I said before about that really immature anti-religious aspect, there's a lot of that in their older stuff, so it seems that they are actually maturing as they get more and more into this, and that's good to see. Your opinions on things should mature as you research more into them. But at this point, it's presented in such a way that at times I'm like, is this really anti-Christian? It just sounds like Christian black metal. And I'm reminded of that urban legend black metal band that apparently studied the Bible so much to be so blasphemous that they ended up converting. And that story is not 100% true if you actually look into it. But maybe we're seeing it play out now for realsies. Even the band name, Non Est Deus, it translates to There Is No God, but it's taken from the Book of Psalms. And it's in a line that's commenting on the folly of atheism, so maybe the writing was on the wall the entire time with this black metal band. But hey, that's Blessings and Curses by Non Est Deus. I think you're a fan of bands like Behemoth, but Nurgle is the type of guy you want to give a wedgie and a swirly to. This is probably the band for you. Something that has a similar sound, approaches the same subject matter, but just does it in a way that isn't childish. That comes off as educated and mature. I thought it was pretty good. I'd go see this if it came and toured Australia. I know there is a live band for this too. Much like Caninian and Phoebe, blah, blah, blah. They are all masked and have a spooky stage get-up, so I guess that guy just likes not showing his face. Actually, is it a third band? Let me just check if that is also a masked band. It's called Lepa. It is also a masked band. Amazing. I see. It's like, I don't even think it's a P. I think it's that. Is it called Thorn, the letter? Anyway, it says that the themes for that is depression, so that must be his DSBM band, because listening to some earlier Non Est Deus tracks, there was some DSBM elements in there. It's not great when he tries to do the silencer screams, not gonna lie. Probably would steer away from that. Happy to not have that in any of his other projects if he's just got a little containment zone for it in its own little project. But yeah, all 3 bands, no face. There we go. But hey, If you want to see more of this face, why don't you like and subscribe, baby? I'm on YouTube. I'm on Spotify too. There's a link in the description if you don't want to give money to YouTube or you get too many ads. You can watch this as a podcast on Spotify too. Thank you so much for watching, sticking around. This one was a bit rambly. I'm coming back off being sick. But I appreciate you all the same. Until next time, peace out.